right, bit of knowledge, and I think I've worked out the Scottish-Rite Code. Right, so when you have the Scottish Rites idea, it basically becomes the Scottish Rite, as in R-I-G-H-T, right? And this is basically the right to enter heaven, right? Which is sort of given by the monarch, right? The right to enter heaven, right? So obviously when you have the kingdom of heaven type idea, see, it's like this refers to the king, right? Or obviously when you've got present day, you've got a queen, not a king, but it's the same thing, right? And it's to do with the right to enter heaven, right? So when you have the land of the leal, it's basically land of the loyal, as in loyal subjects to the king, right? Loyal subjects to the monarch, right? And this from that, right? They decide basically who gets into heaven, right? Or who is locked out of heaven, right? And so to reinforce this, right? Because obviously in the media stuff you've got that lockdown idea, right? And just prior to the lockdown idea, they had a song by Bruno Mars, which was called "Locked Out of Heaven," right? So this is again referring to who's locked out of heaven. So when they introduced the lockdown idea, right, it's basically a reinforcement of that idea of locking the naturals out of heaven, right? The non-loyal subjects, right? And so when you're talking about who's loyal and all that, this goes back, in through time, like the last couple of 100 years or whatever, since the formation of the Freemasonry, and it's basically they're making the decisions on the records that are kept as to who's a loyal subject and who isn't, type of thing, right? So obviously at this stage, people, it's basically down to genetic bloodlines, the people who are chosen, like the chosen ones and all that, and the people who are like, locked out of it, right? The idea of heaven, right? Building heaven on earth type of thing, see? So it's to do with that. So it's like a spiritual idea what they're building, right? Hence the builder's idea, right? It's not really that they were building, buildings and architecture, but obviously those things are linked in, of course, right? But it's more to do with the spiritual idea of building the kingdom of heaven on earth, right? So basically deciding who gets into heaven, i.e. the right to enter heaven, right? And who gets locked out. Hence the like I say, the lockdown idea was a reinforcement of this, building these imaginary boundaries and sort of gates, that lock people out and allow people in and all this thing. And again, this is referring, ties and links to the scapegoat idea, where they make the scapegoat go out the sort of gates and then lock the gates behind the goat, and lock the doors, and it's sort of, it's banished to wander in the wilderness and the desert, with curses on it and all this. So obviously, you can see how that ties in with it, see? So it's like the Scottish Rites idea is basically, simple as that. It's the right to enter the land of the loyal subjects and all that, see? Heaven on earth.